All right. I wanted to do a video about essentially apologizing to Tulsi Gabbard fans, people on Twitter, especially those on Twitter, because quite honestly, the people on Twitter were the toughest to deal with for me. And this was during the time when Tulsi Gabbard dropped out of the race and decided to support Joe Biden or tell people, hey, Joe Biden's okay. You can go and vote for Joe Biden. Although she never told people who to vote for. She basically said some complimentary things about Joe Biden. And I think I've been pretty transparent along the way about how I felt and where I am today. And during that time, I did a lot of searching around. You can look at the history of videos, the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, and I'm still probably going to vote for Jo Jorgensen for president because I think she's close, ideologically speaking, to Tulsi Gabbard. If Tulsi Gabbard was on the ballot, or if I could write in a vote that I knew would be counted, I might actually write in Tulsi Gabbard, but she's not on the ballot where I live. So I won't be doing that. And I was pretty critical and pretty harsh of some others who were taking that tact. I decided to look for other candidates, and my search came up pretty empty, to be honest with you. The two minor parties don't really seem to have their act together. And I'm talking specifically about the Greens and the Libertarians. I think the Libertarians are better organized. I think the Greens have a bit of a mandate because all of those Bernie people should be voting in the Green Party, but I don't see a huge groundswell of support for them. If they're polling less than 1% in a state like Pennsylvania, it's game over. They're not going anywhere. The Libertarians aren't doing much better, typically between 1% and 2%, depending on which state you go to. Probably a little higher in places like Montana and Alaska and New Hampshire, places where people value liberty and freedom. But getting back to the whole Tulsi Gabbard thing, this video is kind of a response to something that happened on Twitter earlier. Somebody who I had blocked, who was talking to somebody about how fake I was and how I'm in this for the money and so forth. Let me be clear. I have a channel that has about 33,000 subscribers on it. And as you can tell by the background here, it's my primary channel. And I enjoy doing the channel because, number one, for the most part, although lately I have been talking more about politics, but for the most part, it's me and various music that I like. All right. Issues regarding rock bands and so forth. Although a lot of that right now is on hiatus because of COVID. So on this channel, I have decided to rebrand and go back to Tulsi. I think I picked a creative name for the channel, and I think I've got some support. I've got a staunch Tulsi supporter coming to do a live show with me, or not a live stream, but a recorded show, which will be uploaded hopefully on Saturday at some point. And I think that's pretty good. I reached out to him. He reached out to me. Look, we all make mistakes. And in politics is very confusing. It's just very confusing. And by the way, for the record, because I have a bit of a different take on, a slightly different take on this so-called pandemic, just going to be honest with you. Do I believe it's a thing? Yeah, it's a thing, but there are a lot of questions and there aren't that many answers. And it's like hitting a moving target each day, trying to pay attention. And I think we're all being played. We'll find out if I'm right, maybe a year from now, if this is all still kind of going on. But I don't agree with what Tulsi Gabbard has said about this. I don't agree with most of what she said. She has more recently talked about how certain government officials are beginning to overstep their authority. And I think courts will eventually rule not in the favor of lockdowns, but in the favor of people doing what they're supposed to do, like going to work so they can earn a living, kids going to school so they can learn, people interacting, and not just with masks on and not 6 feet away from each other. But that's another video, and I think I've already done my fair share of explaining my point of view on that. You can disagree with that all day long. I am in the minority. I'm in the minority. See, I look at, and it doesn't mean you have to believe what I believe, but a lot of views that I hold are in the minority. Obviously, supporting Tulsi Gabbard is kind of like being in the minority. I think it's a strong, staunch minority of people, but we are, still going forward, and I'm happy to go forward. Now, if you doubt my authenticity, you think I'm in this for the $100 a month or what this channel might generate if people actually start watching it again? Really? I mean, honestly, I was earning more money when people were sending me PayPal donations, and I would tell them, you just kept me going for another week. I put time and effort into the content, and you expect once you get to a certain number of subscribers, you expect maybe the channel might earn you some revenue. Is Tulsi Gabbard a cash cow for me? No, not at all. I'd be better off talking about Donald Trump or, maybe some other political figure, Bernie Sanders. What happened to Bernie channel probably be really popular. There are a lot of things I could talk about that I'm sure would generate more interest. But, I work for Vladimir Putin, so I decided to go all in for Tulsi Gabbard again. So there you go. You call Vladimir if you don't like what I'm doing, because he's been telling me this is what I need to do. So I decided to go ahead and do it again. In all seriousness, the best thing that can come of this is that people will find out more about Tulsi Gabbard, keeping her name in the news. Doing the other channel, I know for a fact that certain rock bands are very happy when I mention them because it keeps them in the news. And it's something that politicians also appreciate. I don't consider Tulsi Gabbard an ordinary politician, and I'm sure she can do quite nicely without my help. I am no big deal, as I said over on Twitter. No big deal. All right. And yes, I've made mistakes, but there are worse things that have been done against Tulsi Gabbard. All right. And against Tulsi Gabbard supporters. So as somebody who supported Tulsi Gabbard and now has kind of come back to promoting Tulsi Gabbard, I don't think it's a big stretch for me to do this and do it with a certain amount of integrity and honesty. So again, if you want to question that stuff, it's fine. Twitter is a world unto itself. I hate it. It's a necessary evil, I guess, if you want to promote yourself. And if you have an opinion about something, it stinks for arguing because of the character limit and the fact that I can't type. So, But anyway, I wanted to put that out and just let folks know that I'm serious. I'm in it. You don't have to watch this channel. You can find other content to watch. And I don't know who's going to be covering Tulsi. Maybe there'll be more than just me. But I'm hoping that her political comeback begins as soon as this election is over. And I'm hoping that she'll run as an independent candidate somewhere. But who knows? Maybe she has no intention of coming back to politics. If that's the case, then we certainly still need to build her up and find somebody who can, basically do what she does. But it's going to be tough because she's a very unique person. And she's uniquely qualified not only to be president, but to bring the country together, unity. And that's, again, more important than the issues I disagree with her on. That's why I'm doing the channel again. And that's why I've come to that conclusion. Because I'd be sacrificing some of my views if I voted for libertarians all the time. I'd definitely be in trouble with the Green Party. you can go down the list. There are things that I like about all of those parties. There are things I like about the Republican Party. There used to be things I liked about the Democratic Party a long time ago when they were truly an anti-war party. But I dislike the Democratic Party more than any party. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm hoping that some way, somehow, Tulsi Gabbard gets out of the Democratic Party or launches a reform movement, like a real reform movement within the party, not like a DSA sheep herding thing, but like common sense Democrats who don't see every issue the same or don't just focus on cultural issues which are tearing the country apart right now, like this Supreme Court justice thing, which again is another, we can't, it's like the 24-hour news cycle that never stops cycling. So, all right, that's my video. I'm rambling. I will see you soon.